Good evening and welcome to World of Tanks Pro League Match Day 22. Yes, that's right. It's been a long, hard season for all these World of Tanks professional teams, but it comes to an end this evening with the 22nd and final league game of the season. We've had a few things that have been decided, but not everything is decided just yet. Tonight we're going to find out who makes the playoffs and who gets relegated out of the league. I'm Paul Red-Eye Challoner, and alongside me once again is Stephen Smeagol Neil.
Hello guys.
How you doing?
I'm good, and you?
Yeah, are you excited?
I am.
Because this is going to be the mother of all match days. You realise that, right?
It's like you think after 22 play days you can tell, and it might be between one or two teams. You might be deciding, but this is kind of bottom of the league, middle of the league. Everything needs still needs to be decided. I
don't want to swear on the stream, but if I could, I would probably be saying that the middle of the table is a cluster, and you know what comes next, right? So let's show you the rankings, and I'll also try and talk you through the possible scenarios we have. Bear with me, because this one's going to mind equals blown you. At the top of the table, let's go through the things that are absolutely confirmed. WoT Pro are the champions of the regular seasons. Not the champion of Season 1, but champions of the league. 20 consecutive wins for them. They're looking to make it 21 out of 21 tonight. And yes, they did have one loss. It was the very first game of the season. They're confirmed. They can't be beaten. Likewise for Synergy, they have qualified in second place. So those two teams go off to DreamHack for the Season 1 finals, already in the semi-finals. The round of 6, however, is very difficult to predict. The only one that we can safely say is there on points is Mouse Sports. But here comes the tricky bit. Spale and Kaznakru have 33. They play each other tonight, and we can tell you officially that the winner of that will definitely play in the playoffs. You can see that for yourselves, okay? The loser will then fall into a mini-league with other teams, and I'll go through that in a minute. Kaznakru currently in 5th, but they, because of the way the mini-leagues work, even if they lose tonight, Kaznakru are definitely in the playoffs. So we already know Mouse Sports and Kazna are definitely going to DreamHack. Spale, however, are not yet confirmed, regardless of their result, unless they win tonight. If they lose, they fall into a mini-league, and all hell will break loose, trust me. Likewise, MYM, who have been 4th pretty much all season long, have now slipped to 6th. They're on the cusp of not making it. They take on Dragonborns tonight. However, if MYM win against Dragonborns, they will also enter the mini-league, and again, I'll come back to that in a moment. Evil Panda Squad are in 7th, and they also still have a shot at the playoffs, as you can see, finishing in the top 6. The next 4 after the top 2 go to DreamHack, remember. The rest, from 7 down to 10, go into the relegation playoffs next week on Monday and Thursday. Evil Panda Squad's deal this evening is very clear, however. They have to beat Lucky Kuraky. That's our first game in this evening. And if they don't win it, they don't make the playoffs. It also makes our scenarios a lot easier, okay? Let's just go through the rest of the rankings. Asuba in 9th, they will finish no higher, no lower. They will finish 9th at the end of the season. But they do have an impact on the relegation tonight, because if Lucky Kuraky win, they will move above Alpha Squad. And Alpha are playing Asuba, and that one could go either way. The only guaranteed thing at the bottom of the table is that, sadly, the Poles, 1SBP Zawisza, even if they win this evening, definitely will be relegated out of the World of Tanks Pro League. So, here's the thing, okay? Here's where it gets funky, okay? Prepare yourself. Okay, so if Spale if Spale lose this evening, then Kaznakru are already through. We already know that Kaznakru are through anyway, okay? But if Kaznakru win their game, Kazna are definitely going to be 4th. Spale then fall into the mini-league. They would be in that mini-league with one of MYM or Dragonborns, and only if Evil Panda Squad win, okay? If Evil Panda Squad don't win, Spale will definitely finish in the playoffs. That's the first thing you need to know. So if EPS lose their game against Lucky Kuraky, it doesn't matter to Spale or Kaznakru. That's the first thing you need to remember tonight. It does matter, however, to MYM and Dragonborns, because they play each other. So the winner of that game would also join Kaznakru and Spale. That's the simplest way of explaining this. If Evil Panda Squad don't win, we don't have a mini-league. If Evil Panda Squad win, however, we will have a 3-way tie regardless of all the other results, just because of the way that the games have fallen. Spale and Kaznakru play each other. One of them has to finish on 33. MYM and Dragonborns play each other. One of them has to finish on 33. Evil Panda Squad will also finish on 33 if they win. So we'll have 3 teams. So this is the way it works. If Kaznakru win, it will be Spale, MYM, and EPS if MYM win. In that case, It's a three-way tie on points. It's also a three-way tie on the mini-league. But counting back on rounds 1, EPS would qualify and so would MYM. It's the only scenario where Spale will not make the qualifiers. So if Spale lose and MYM win, Spale won't go to DreamHack. That's the first scenario. God blimey, hold your brains. The second one is this. If Krasnokru do beat Spale again, but instead of MYM beating Dragonborns win, it would finish with Spale, EPS and Dragonborns in that order in the mini table. So Dragonborns would go out of the playoffs, even if they beat MYM. That's quite sad for them. So Dragonborns need Spale to win their game against Krasnokru. That's what Dragonborns need to do, as well as beating MYM. Scenario 3 is this. If Spale beat Krasnokru, then Krasna fall into the mini bracket. If MYM beat Dragonborns, then it's Krasna, MYM, and EPS in the mini bracket. And EPS have the lowest score of those 3 teams. Therefore, EPS would not qualify. MYM and Krasna would, alongside Spale. The fourth scenario is this. If Spale beat Krasna, but Dragonborns beat MYM, then it finishes Dragonborns, Krasnokru, EPS. So you can probably work out by now that Dragonborns and EPS need the opposite of what happens to each other to happen. In other words, EPS definitely needs Krasna to win. Dragonborns need Spale to win. That's what they both need. Even if they both win their matches. Yeah. You can come back to us now, Tim. Jesus wept. I told you, mind equals blown, right?
I think it makes totally sense, and it's completely easy to understand.
Yeah, that's as clear as mud right now, right?
Of course. If you have it all written down in front of you,
my God, my brain actually does ache now.
I'm so happy
that really does. However, the first thing we have to remember this evening is the first game of tonight that we're going to schedule on the show is Lucky Kuraky versus Evil Panda Squad. So we're going to have a better idea after this first match as to whether we actually do have mini-league for the final 2 places. We know that at least Mouse Sports are through and at least Krasnokru are through. I'm not even sure Krasnokru know that they're definitely through, but they will now.
Yeah.
Because they are definitely, it doesn't matter what the results are, Krasna are definitely going to go through. Just because even if they lose and fall into the mini-league, they finish in the top 2 every time of the 3 teams. So they're safe. It's just who qualifies in the last 2 spots. And the worst thing for them is this, right? So if that wasn't hard enough, you finish tied for 6th and 7th, you lose out in the mini-league, you don't go to DreamHack because you finish 7th, and to make it worse, you have to play a relegation playoff next week against one of these up-and-coming budding teams from the A-Series or Go4.
That's right.
Which means you're still not even safe to be playing in Season 2.
That's correct.
And you're tied on points for 6th.
It's just...
Who made these rules?
not me.
They're harsh, but they do bring entertainment, that's for sure. So with that out of the way, I think it's time for our first game, don't you?
It is.
Yeah.
But one thing I want to add, it's nice to see that we can actually tell how the teams perform throughout the league. Because, for example, Krasnokru, even though their points aren't as strong as other teams,
they've been much better against the mid-table teams.
They won against the teams what made sense, or what were important, while other teams lost these games.
But also, what's weird as well for the Krasnokru is they lost to Lucky Kuraky.
Yeah.
So that hasn't hurt them because Lucky Kuraky weren't able to get up there. And they lost to the top team. So they've lost to top and bottom, whereas everyone else has lost to the middle teams. Yeah, so that's how it's ended up. So I'm glad that's clear. If it's not clear, let us have a note in the Twitch chat and we'll try and fix it. But I'm pretty sure they're the only scenarios that can happen this evening. All 73 of them, or whatever it is. So it's time for game number 1. Evil Panda Squad versus Lucky Kuraky. Don't know do we have the team lineups? We do have the team lineup, so let's show you those first before we drop you into the game. They won't be fielding all of these players, of course, this evening because there are quite a lot of them. It is 7v7. We've got Jason in the room right now, who's a League of Legends commentator, who's looking at the board going, how many players? Yes, they do. They can only play 7v7, but most teams do have more than that, and there is a limit in the league, isn't
11 players.
Yeah, 11 players in the actual squad.
The reason is because of the different roles what the players can have, so you need a bit of diversity.
Some teams have specialist artillery, some people have specialist tier 1 scouts, and so on. So that's why they have such big crews. As you can see, Lucky Kuraky have a full lineup of 11. Evil Panda Squad just a little bit more, just a little bit less, sorry. We will go through the actual team lineups when we drop you into the game. So there's your 2 lineups. Lucky Kuraky versus Evil Panda Squad. Both have much reason to do very well this evening. If Lucky Kuraky win, then they have to hope that Alpha Squad lose, and that will mean they will save themselves from relegation out of the league. And if Evil Panda Squad win, they have to hope that a number of scenarios work in their favour, and they will make the playoffs.
But one thing you didn't mention, if Kuraky wins, there's left to hope that Alpha loses.
No, that's what I said. Yeah,
oh,
they still have to. Yeah, they have to hope that Alpha loses to Asuba, and that's by no means a guaranteed final score. So we'll see. And we'll bring you all the action from the 2 games this evening, but we'll also keep you up to date with scores from the other matches as well on this final night of the WoT Pro League here in Europe, just so that you know by the end of the evening exactly where everyone finishes. I don't know if we can actually update everything by the end of the night, but we'll try our best. We'll try our best.
I've got it all set up.
Final table.
We're going to do our best to get it all done on the fly.
If not, you're in trouble.
Oh, I'm in trouble anyway, aren't I? I'm sitting next to you. You break everything.
Talking of trouble, there's another person in the show that you haven't met just yet. She is, of course, the one and only Melly. How you doing?
Trouble?
Only sometimes, right?
Sometimes. I'm always nice. Well.
Final league night.
Jason is shaking his head. I don't know why.
Final league night.
Final league night, exactly.
Exciting.
So, yeah, we need you to know what you think. I will put up a vote in a few seconds on our Facebook page, facebook.com/WoT Pro League, where you can vote for your team. And, yeah, let's see what happens.
Indeed.
I'm really excited. It
yes.
sounded really easy to understand, of course. I have all the possible scenarios on my sheet in front of me. Why a laugh?
Yeah. Okay.
No, and if you have questions, come to the Twitch chat and have a nice chat with us. You can send me your questions via Facebook, Twitter, whatever, and Paul and Stephen will answer them. And I think we're ready.
We are. Team's ready as well.
Yeah, we are pretty much ready. Thank you very much, Melly. We will come back to you during the show. Sorry, just cut Melly's voice off a little bit there. I didn't realise she was going to say thank you to us as well. She's always very polite, is that, Melly? We are almost ready to go, so let's get you into the game. The first map will be Prokhorovka to kick things off in this first game. I believe the tank picks have already gone through as well, although we will show you what they're lining up with. 1390, two 1390s, 2 T2 Lights, 2 T69s, GW Panther for EPS, and on the other side, a lack of artillery, which is very interesting. We have 3 1390s, 2 of the Chinese WZ132s, and 2 T1. So this is going to be interesting.
It is.
Artillery versus non-artillery.
And we saw this last show, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
And the non-artillery
won.
Apart,
yep, they did.
So,
but they did it with 2 T52s.
Yeah, and the difference was it was Savisha against WoT Kuraky. No, Alpha against WoT Kuraky it was, and Alpha was the one without playing artillery. If I have it right in my mind, I'm pretty sure it was that way. And they did it with the 2 T50-2s, and they was just on fire. But yeah, we're ready.
Teams are ready. We're ready. Match day 22 is about to get underway. Ladies and gentlemen, this is map number 1, Prokhorovka.
Yeah, so this is probably the most open map of the league.
I'm pretty sure Prokhorovka is Russian for open map.
Should be something like that, yeah.
If it's not, then it should be.
It is.
And if it's not Russian for open map, then it should be Russian for good drink.
But open map, best maps in my opinion. Most action, and we had. I can always keep on repeating this. We had our fastest game on this map, 1 minute and 20 seconds.
We did, but we also had a draw on this map this season,
and
which was unbelievable.
Still can't get over that one.
No, I mean, how on earth do you draw Prokhorovka? But they somehow, our friends from Dragonborns did indeed draw the map. So we're underway in our first map. Massive game for WoT Kuraky. They have teetered on the brink all season. They've been very good towards the end of it. 3 wins in their last 6 games to give them a shot at getting out of the automatic relegation zone. But tonight, it's all on one game. They have to win. Likewise, Evil Panda Squad have had a decent season, but it would all be for nothing if they don't manage to switch up their final game and win it and give themselves a chance of making the playoffs.
All right, so game starting off here in the middle. We really see a lot of action from Evil Panda Squad, actually. New Multi-Show, Ice, and CNEF all around the middle, trying to get us some first shots. And on the other side, we just see an AMX 3090 and a WZ from WoT Kuraky around this area, and the remaining tanks bottom left of the map. So they're just waiting for the right moment, maybe get some snipes towards the middle, and get the important advantage to then do the final push. So at the moment, we see CNNK rolling forward now as well. And he should be spotted. If he doesn't watch out, he should be spotted because there's a T2 light, nice T2 light down the bottom left side from Evil Panda squad. It's actually even charged down there. It's going to die pretty soon. And it's the first two exchanges at the beginning.
Yeah, first two down. One T2 light gone, one T1 gone. New multi-show here, just unleashing a shell on the far side to Object and landed it as well. So a little bit of damage done, but a cagey start here on Prokhorovka, which is unusual. Although we've got a lot of spots right now. There's one on the Chinese WZ132 and a 1390 over there as well. Immediately alerted New Multi-Show. He's now gone back the other way. And he's just trying to flush anyone out of the shadows on the far side.
Hey, also, in the meantime, Ice took a bit of damage. He's down to 500 and a bit. So I can't exactly tell. 580.
Yeah, 599.
599. So now
Ice.
Half his HP gone.
Yeah,
not that healthy. You don't want that to happen.
Zenith is also over there with him. Potomako in there. Kedavan has been spotted here. And they're calling in the shot. But, well, one of them doesn't have artillery. So there's not going to be a shot there from Lucky Kuraky. And instead, EPS can do that. Potomako just avoiding the shell that landed to the side of his tracks on the left-hand side. Then the second time doesn't avoid that one. And Kedavan has landed some damage here. Zenith takes out Quicksville. And they've gotten rid of the two T1. So the spotting ability has been completely reduced and nullified. And Potomako now on the verge of going down. He was down to 200. And the GW Panther comes in to pick up the first Tier 8 kill of the evening on that WZ.
That's right. That was a 1,000 damage shell there from the artillery. Just knocked all the way, just ran down onto the WZ. That's the problem with the light tank. If an artillery connects, it can do a lot of damage. And that's where the artillery comes in handy on Prokhorovka.
Yeah, you're right. And some damage here being delivered by New Multi-Show. Ice comes into the battle here as well. And Zinef is there. They've got 4 tanks surrounding near Pizzorni right now. He's got Potomako. Well, he's still on 200 and finally blown away. Really should have done better because Potomako already had 200 health. And actually, near Pizzorni did absolutely 0 damage there. And they've now picked off 2 Tier 8 tanks. And that's going to be game over surely now.
Yeah, now the push is coming from Kuraky and trying to catch up here. Taking down Potomako in the middle. But that took too many shells there. Object missed 1 shell. Over tank missed 1 shell as well. And now there's Sony and the GW Panther taking down the next WZ. That's the game. That's where we can see the artillery comes in really handy on this map.
Yeah, indeed. Last 2 alive, Tolek and Object. Have got to pull out a bit of a rabbit from the virtual hat to win this one. They've now had the capture started as well here. And it's a 5-2 scoreline in favour of EPS. They've started as they mean to go on. Object has now been flushed out from behind that mid-rock along the EF line. And here comes Zinef to try and shut him down. Doesn't have a huge amount of health here. I think from memory he was down to half. Yeah, 639. Here comes Zinef round the corner. Does land the first shell, although Zinef gets hit twice himself. So he's going to be a little bit careful. Another shot in from the right-hand side. Then a lovely shot from the GW Panther right over the top of the rock. And Object gets blown to smithereens. Tolek is the last man standing. Let's see if we can find him. There he is.
Yeah, he has a chance to take down 2 tanks, but New Multi-Show is still on full HP. He's going to be a tricky one here. He's going for CNF. Also missing shells. These shells he shouldn't be missing.
Oh, dear. Yeah, that's a little bit awkward. Well, it does land a couple more right now. Should get this one. Actually, the GW Panther comes in again from Sony with another big kill on the 1390 for the 4th kill of the round. Brilliant from that GW Panther. Sony picks up 2,759 damage with 4 kills. Perfect example of good artillery.
That's right. We always talk about small artillery is just as powerful as big artillery, but the small artillery can't do such one-shots. And that's where, if you play the big artillery right, and you've got a good arty player in your team,
that's what wins you the game.
Yeah, you can see what that tank can do for damage.
Indeed. New Moldy shows Zinef and Ice all picking up a killer piece. So map 1 on Prokhorovka goes to EPS. They are just 2 rounds away, 2 maps away from, well, not qualifying for the playoffs, but at least giving themselves a chance at qualifying for the playoffs. The second match this evening will be the Spale versus Krasnokru game, which effectively decides everything. It doesn't just decide whether Spale go through or not. It decides whether EPS goes through. It decides whether Dragonborns goes through. It decides whether MYM goes through. and it decides whether Spale goes through.
But
so
it also could mean that it doesn't decide if they go through.
Well, correct. If Krasnokar are already through, so if Spale win that game, we know that Spale and Krasnokar are already through. It then leaves a mini-league on the other two. So it would be EPS and MYM or Dragonborns. Only one of those could then go through.
Yeah, so if Spale wins, they decide everything. But if they lose...
Well, it doesn't decide everything. No, it doesn't decide everything. Because if Spale wins, then Krasnokar finishes level and they go into the mini-league, which we already know they win. But it does make a difference to MYM, Dragonborns, and EPS. Unless EPS lose this one again. Mind equals blown again!
Oh, man. So much ifs in this situation.
Ifs and buts and maybes. We are ready for map number 2, and it is the tank picks are about to start, so let's drop you in. It's going to be the Ensk map, the draw map as it's become known through the league season, and we've started things off with Lucky Kuraky picking up a T1 and an AMX 5100.
Yeah, so far, pretty much standard. Sony calling the same tanks for Evil Panda squad as well. While we wait for the next call, we forgot it again. Predictions. Keep forgetting it, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to say, I would like to be, my heart says Lucky Kuraky, just because I think they've been very courageous towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
They've put in a lot of effort, I know, and a lot of training to try and bring themselves up to the level that's required to play in the Premier League, the WoT Pro League. And they've been on reasonable form at the end of the season. They've won 3 of the last 6, so that's given them a shot.
Yeah.
And you remember they were 0-7 at the start of the season, and here we are 15 games later, and they actually have a chance, having won 5 of their last 10, to get out of the relegation zone. So my heart it is with Lucky Kuraky. On the other hand, you want to see the best teams perform at DreamHack. And I believe Evil Panda Squad would be one of those teams. So it'd be nice to see them in the mix as well. So my head says Evil Panda Squad, my heart says Lucky Kuraky.
Do you want to give a result?
I think it's going to be 3-1 EPS.
You think so? I think the same as well. Even though I agree with Lucky Kuraky, probably deserves the win.
Well, I think they deserve to be in the league again next season, or at least giving a shot to be in the league. Yeah. And if they finish 11th, obviously they've got no shot. That's it, they're done. And I think it comes at a time when they're just starting to get to grips with the quality that's required. And to see them out of the league, I don't know. I mean, I think they would probably just bounce straight back in, and we'll probably see them in Season 3 anyway.
Yeah, I guess so too.
We'll see.
But on the other side, if you think about Evil Panda Squad, they were never close to the top 6 either, weren't they? And now all of a sudden, the last couple of games, they managed to catch up so many points.
Actually, around sort of 9-10, weeks 9-10, they were up there. They were in the top 5. I think 5th is the highest they've peaked all season. But you're right, they've not been in the top 6 for the last few weeks. They've been sort of lagging behind a few points. But the good thing for them was that their run-in for the end of the season was much easier than, say, for instance, Dragonborns, who had Synergy, WoT Pro, and MYM as their last 3 games. Likewise, MYM, who've been in 4th for pretty much most of the season, have now dropped to 6th and are in the mix for not making it. And it would be almost unthinkable that MYM wouldn't be a DreamHack. I mean,
because
but there is a couple of scenarios, as we explained earlier, that means they won't make it. They have to beat Dragonborns. That's the first thing that has to happen. And even if they beat Dragonborns, they might still not make it. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting for MYM. In fact, actually, do you know what? If they beat Dragonborns, they are through. Because they beat Spale and EPS. That's one of the things that we didn't actually work out, but I can work that out in my head. They actually beat EPS and Spale in the mini-league.
They're second in all situations, aren't they?
Yes, they're second in every situation. So if MYM beat Dragonborns, they are definitely in the playoffs. So that's another one that we can throw away. The tank picks have been completed. We went through T1, 5100 twice for both teams through the first 2 rounds. IS3 and T69 through round 3, and then an IS3 for Lucky Kuraky, but then it wasn't a mirror match because EPS went for an extra 5100 at the end of the round. So the only difference between the two, one auto-loader, one 5100 on the other side, and they are ready. So let's let them know. And it will be map number 2. Lucky Kuraky 1 down after that first map on Prokhorovka for Evil Panda Squad. Ensk is... it's always been one of those cagey maps.
You don't like this map.
I don't like the map, I have to admit. It's a beautiful map to look at. It's well designed. It works for 15-15. I have no issues with the map per se. I just feel that 7v7 and the way that the meta has moved forward, specifically over the last 3 or 4 weeks, in the last 6 to 7 games, has been that it doesn't reward people that want to take risks.
Yeah,
and
that's
because
right.
of that, you get a very stale game, and it becomes a little bit about luck as to who can pick off a T8.
What we
T8
saw. Who was it who did it in the last second? Who managed to draw?
The week before last?
Yeah, we had this map where
it was the Alpha game, wasn't it?
It was Alpha who managed to do it in the last second.
Yeah, and saved the game. But that was to save the game.
Yeah.
That wasn't to win it, that was to save it. Anyway, we move on to the streets of Ensk. The tight little twisting streets of Ensk with a massive train yard on the right-hand side. It's sort of I call it a thirds map. The 1/3 has open plan area behind the train station. The middle area, well, that has lots and lots of houses. And the final third is blocks of flats, which makes it very difficult for anything other than a T1 to proxy spot, and certainly gives them very little vision on the map for anyone else. So there we go. The EPS team will spawn in the south, lucky Kuraky up to the north, and it's game on in map number 2, with EPS leading 1-0 from the first map on Prokhorovka. As you can see, EPS just setting themselves up early. Let's just see whether they split this or not. They've gone for Tomasz and Ice on the left-hand side, and they have split this one, so that's interesting. Both T1s have gone to the right-hand side, so a new tactic from EPS here. Zinef and New Multi Show sort of more or less standard along the 6 and 5 lines, but the difference for them is that Pointer and Sony have both gone to the right-hand side on the more open expanse to give themselves some view of anything incoming. So I wouldn't say new tactic, but I would say slightly different from the norm.
Yeah.
How's it looking on the other side?
The other side is pretty much standard. You got the T1 with CNNK in the middle, just trying to check out what's going on there. T69 a bit far in the front. You usually don't seem that aggressive at the beginning. They want to find out what's going on first before pushing that far down. But besides that, pretty much all the same. Got IS3 in the middle, just some, maybe get 1 or 2 shells on tanks relocating to the right-hand side. And the remaining tanks just sticking around the city at the top left of the mini-map.
Do you know, I actually thought you said the rest of the maps are dicking around.
Why would I say that?
I don't know. But that's what it sounded like. And for a minute, I thought, what would they be dicking around by there? That would be weird. Anyway, if you're not familiar with English colloquial phrases, that's not rude, by the way. It just means you're messing around. It's another way of saying messing around. Just had to clear that one up, just in case people thought I was being rude. So, yes, there is a couple of shells being unleashed by Zinef, who's back in the cap circle here. Nothing done on Object or Matt PL, who are the closest to him. As you can see, he's just sitting here. He's got New Multi-Show to the right-hand side. And over on the far side, we've got Pointer in the T1, right at the back of what we call the garden area. And Zinef right now, that's his view. You can see, you can't see a huge amount, that's for sure. And just to give you a bit of an overview of the rest of the map as to where they are right now. We have our Tier 1 Pointer down there. And the other T1, well, that's interesting. Sony's gone back to a more normal proxy spotting sort of position in what we call the square. You can see him just down there with Ice behind him. Tomasz looking all the way down what we call the 2-1 street. It's a very long street, and you can see everything just by sitting back at the base. And then Zinef and Potomako sitting in the cap circle. That's how EPS look right now.
I think at the beginning they wanted the 2 T1s on the right-hand side just to maybe stop any Tier 1 pushing from the other team, because 2 against 1 obviously makes the job easier. And as I noticed, right, nothing's coming. Okay, I can go to the standard position here and just chill around. In the meantime, we can see here the point of view of Ketavan. We see shots flying around, hitting his building on the right-hand side of him. The wall being taken down as well. Might come in handy for Evil Panda, for Lucky Kuraky actually, because they can move the IS3 out to that direction without giving away the position he's moving that way. We're now in the middle. T69 New Multi-Show did show himself, tried to connect the shell onto Ketavan, hit his tracks, but did do no damage, so fine for now. On the other side, Ketavan tried the same, but it looks like he didn't manage to connect the shell either. Yeah,
we've got Zinef here as well. He has also been called into a little bit of action along the 6 line, purely because New Multi-Show was spotting Ketavan, but they haven't been able to land any damage on them whatsoever. So frustrating for both teams so far. There's a shell that comes flying through into the cap circle from near Pizzorni. Again, not an accurate one, though, and not an accurate one back from Potomako either. So, honours equal after 4 minutes of play, and honours equal in terms of no health lost for either of these teams either.
Yeah, both just trying some random shots, hoping that maybe 1 or 2 will connect. But so far, even though 1 or 2 shells did hit, no damage was dealt, only tracks have been damaged. So, team should be fine for now. Looks like they're both waiting for the opening, but the positions what they have now, it doesn't look like they're going to be finding this opening pretty soon, because now look at Kuraky, they completely turtled in. I think they lost their first map. They know, all right, we have to win this. We have no other choice. We have to win this, and we still aren't safe. Then we still have to hope. So yeah, they want Evil Panda squad to make the move here.
Yeah, I mean, lose this one, then okay, we move on to map 3, which they could win, but the map 4, I don't think they're going to win. So it comes down to needing to win on this one in order to flip it back the other way. I'm assuming that Lucky Kuraky picked Ensk as well.
Yeah. Because Sony asked before in the chat if Ensk was the next map, so it looks like this is Lucky Kuraky's pick. But in the first shell
which is why if they lose this one, then even if they beat them on their map, they're still then back to their map again. So I don't know. Could go either way still.
First shell did connect though on ice, dealing nearly 400 damage.
Yeah, he's down to 1095. But that's all we've had so far here on Ensk. It's, if you're just joining us for World of Tanks for the first time, don't believe what you see. This isn't what it's like every map. It's just that this particular map lends itself to some very deep strategies and doesn't allow you to be too aggressive. But guess what? Just as I say that, Evil Panda squad have started to get a little bit aggressive. Look at this. Potomako and Tomasz both navigate to the right-hand side of the tracks, and they've managed to get New Multishow and Zinef all the way along to the C line towards the cap circle. You can see it to the left-hand side of your screen right now. Pointer and Sony are busy trying to flush out any T1s they might have found, and they found one right now, and it's going to be CNNK who's in there. And Sony and Pointer, well, actually, Sony's okay. Pointer has taken a little bit of damage, but they haven't gotten rid of CNNK. So is this going to be a very cunning little push towards the cap circle for EPS?
Well, as usual, as soon as they get spotted, they just instantly turn around because they hope that, well, they're scared of any kind of counter push. But it might look like they just want to get a different angle and maybe even come all through the middle. In the meantime, we see a small aggression from Ketavan here. It looked like he wanted to go a bit further forward, but now he's changed his mind. He's going back, and he's still holding his corner there. We have to say, CNNK didn't do a good job there against both T1s. He could have taken down one because he wasn't spotted. He had the first shot. If he would have connected his whole clip onto one tank, it would have been 1-for-1. So he didn't aim that good there.
And right now we've got a retreat for EPS. So looked like they were getting all feisty, but with 2 minutes and 45 seconds remaining, they've decided to come back to a much more safe position. So settle yourselves in. This could be a long one.
Can be indeed. Looking at Lucky Kuraky, not a single tank has moved. I think Matt PL, he drove towards his position where he is now and hasn't moved since. The 5100s. Oh, Nearport Sony, he moved a bit because before he was one house further behind. So he did take a bit of a risk there.
Good job there.
Yeah, it takes a lot to actually make this move, so respect for him.
Yep, needs some sort of tank satellite navigation system to find his way to that next house.
Yeah, and then we got Object. He's been stuck at this corner for like kind of, well, I think he needed sport there.
Hold on a second though. Look, what EPS have decided to do with 1 minute and 55 seconds remaining, they've decided to go and swap 2 of their tier 8 tanks towards the cap circle, and Ice is coming along the tracks as well. Tomasz and Potomako are both making their advance here. I don't think we're headed for a draw at all on Ensk, because this looks very feisty indeed from EPS.
Yeah, that's right. Looks like how Kuraky, now we have to look how Kuraky's going to react. Straight away, all tanks turning around, heading back to the base. But I'm not sure if this might be a bit too late.
No,
Because
look, here we go. We are going to get the first one destroyed. Sony goes down, but it's only a tier 1, so it doesn't make any difference. They're 1 for 1. Here comes Potomako, though. He's going to come up onto Kedevan, but he doesn't know that Neopazorni's in there. They've put 1 tank into the cap zone right now. It's not enough. They will have to put another one in there to speed that time up, because they've only got 1 minute and 8 seconds remaining. Here they come round the corner. And Quicksville has spotted both of these tanks here right now. And the 2 behind, they're going to play a little bit of cat and mouse. But Pointer goes down, and now they've lost a second tier 1. 1 minute remaining. Are we going to get the engagement here? Or is it going to be stalemate?
A lot of action going on here at the last moment. Ice taking a bit of damage. He has to watch out. He's down to 830. And he doesn't want to take too much damage there. On the other side, it's looking pretty good for Lucky Kuraky at the moment. So I think it should be fine. 40 seconds left. Maybe they want to do the same what we saw once. Last second, go around the corner, finish off a tank, and then win it.
Yep. It's going to come down to the last few seconds, that's for sure. 30 remaining now. Tense in this second game. We've got an enemy capture started. They haven't got enough time to do it, so it doesn't really matter, to be honest. And are we going to get Kedevan just peeking out? Tomash waiting. They've put Matt PL in there as well. Now, if they go around the corner now, there's 3 tanks there, and it would take 3 shots to get rid of one of these tanks, and they would lose them, but they're not going to push here. 3, 2, 1, and that was probably the most interesting draw we've seen for a while on Ensk. Very tactical.
It was.
But ultimately, it's still a draw.
It was. I think as soon as Lucky Kuraky noticed what was going on, they should have pushed that T1 earlier down the side, because they saw the tanks were coming over the right-hand side. So why did they wait them in there earlier? Time would have been enough to actually cap the base and win the game there, because Evil Panda would have to do some kind of weird stuff to defend and just allow Lucky Kuraky to outnumber them. And also at the end, 3 against 2. 20 seconds left. Why not go around a corner, lobbing your shells? You can't
give it a go.
Yeah, you can't.
No, you can't die. I mean, there's only 2 of them behind there. They're not going to get enough shots off to kill 1.
And they killed 1 tier 1. So even if they lose their tier 8, it's 70 points difference. It's a draw anyway. So why not take the risk at the end, 20 seconds?
We've seen this a lot, actually, this season, where teams haven't been smart enough to work out the tier points, to work out that they can actually waste one of their tanks, send a Lone Ranger in. For instance, when we had the double artillery and we had a tier 7 tank in there, you could have then used that tier 7 tank to go and fish out one guy, and if he got lucky, a couple of shots on it, and he would have won the game. If he dies, doesn't matter, it's a draw. And I think teams need to get a little bit smarter about that.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, it always comes on. It's about the time as well, because you don't want to waste it too early. But
of course.
But in this situation, especially, 20 seconds left.
There's one guy in the team who is deciding the strats. He's deciding whether they go or stay, and he needs to be the guy with the brains that says, wait a minute, even if we lose the tier 8 here, we haven't lost the game. Go for it.
Yeah, that's
There needs to be a little bit more positive action on that. So no changes in the lineup from Kuraky. I would guess probably not from EPS either. So let's let them know that they can go ahead and get back into the map. And we'll get underway on Ensk for round number 2 of Ensk. We've had 4 Ensks before. That's the record. We've had 3 draws in a row before it was finally decided in map 4. The only other map that we've had multiple draws on, incredibly, and only once, was Abbey, which we also played 4 times. I don't even believe... Did we play 4 or did we play... No, we played 3. It was the 3rd one it was actually made
also
on.
this week, wasn't it, when they...
It was, last week. On Monday.
When they,
I don't know. The days blur into each other
with all these holidays in May, it's just like, where's the weekend?
All these holidays in May, which I haven't had one on, you mean? Yeah. The ones that have fallen on Mondays and Thursdays every week.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know.
And we bring you WoT Pro League on Mondays and Thursdays, so no holiday for the Red Eye. Let's drop you into the map. It's going to be Ensk once more. This is map number 2 of the evening, and we are playing it for the 2nd time. Currently, if you're just joining us, Evil Panda Squad 1-0 up in this best of 5 this evening, but here's the deal. Evil Panda Squad have to win if they want to play any further part in the playoffs at DreamHack in a couple of weeks' time. If they fail to win, they definitely won't be going to the playoffs. Even if they win, they still have to rely on a couple of other results going their way. And at the other side, Lucky Kuraky have to win to give themselves a chance of featuring in the up and downs, which will happen next week here on ESL TV, live on Monday and Thursday nights at 7 o'clock Central European time. But if they lose, they are definitely relegated due to the head-to-head with Alpha Squad. So that's what's on the line right now, with Evil Panda Squad leading by 1-0, having won on Prokhorovka. EPS have set up with a 4-3 split, 4 across the 1 line, 3 down towards the cap circle, only one of which is a T1. They've pushed a T1 all the way up to F1 right now. Let's just show you that over the far side. You can see Pointer there. It's just going to spot from a slightly different angle this time. This is an interesting setup because usually you'd only leave 1 tank here on that 1-line street because he can spot the whole street. It's literally a clear street all the way down. As we zoom down here, you can see it. That's the street. You only need 1 guy there, but they've left 2 plus ice and pushed Pointer forward. Now, I guess what they're trying to do there, Stephen, is if they find one, they get a few shots off, and that puts a whole load of damage onto him. It might give them an option to push.
Also, he's the first tank to go forward, see if he gets spotted. If he doesn't get spotted, he knows, right, other tanks can follow them. On the other side, though, looking at Lucky Kuraky's setup, there's not much to say because it's the exact same setup as last game.
However, let's go back to EPS because they are going to push down this 1 street incredibly. And they've so far got away with it without being spotted. That's incredible. I've never seen that happen, where they push 3 of their tier 8 tanks along the ones. They've actually got 4 here. That's amazing. This could be very quick indeed on Ensk if they can get away here from getting through the seaside street and not being spotted. And they are going to be. This is incredible. Oh, finally spotted by Tolek, who is spotting down at the bottom. He will take a shell for his troubles, though, and they do take some cover here inside the top square around about C2, but some early damage inflicted on both Ice and Tolek. Very aggressive moves here from EPS.
That's right. That's what the T1 was there for. He's got the first tank to go forward, check if he gets spotted. If he doesn't get spotted, right, other tanks can follow here. And they managed to get up to all the way to C3 without C2, C3 without being spotted at all. And that's where you can see the T1 positioning from Lucky Kuraky wasn't that strong in this game because they should have seen his way earlier and they could have cut him off before they even get to this position.
So EPS have some positional advantage on the map right now. They are minus a tier 1, but he did his job mightily fine. And Ponomako just going to put himself in a position where he can proxy through into the next street. Tomasz and Zinef both still there. They haven't retreated from this push. And they've got Ice a little bit further advanced as well. He's up on the B2 square right now. And Zinef and Tomasz both waiting to be attacked, I think. I think that's what they're waiting for. I think they feel like they've made such a commitment to this push. They can't really go back from here.
No, I think as soon as they go back, they're going to be spotted. Now, in the meantime, while Evil Panda Squad is pinned down this position, because they can't retreat. If they retreat, they die. And this is what Lucky Kuraky realizes. And just sending down their tier 1s. They're sending them right down to the cap circle and just going to start capping. And if Evil Panda Squad wants to fall back, well, okay, then fall back. But they're not going to fall back without taking a lot of shots in their backs.
Well, guess what? EPS have figured it out as well because they're starting to fall back here. Not massively. They have sent 2 back a little bit. They've sent the 2 5100s back of Tomasz and Zinef. But, well, I say that, and then they decide that they're going to do some parallel parking. They've also spotted a T69 in the middle area.
Yeah, that's
and he's on the 5 train line, so I guess he's giving them some cover.
Yeah, he's actually the saving tank at this point of the game because he's stopping his T1s to cap. They know he's there. They're not spotting him at the moment, but they have spotted him once, so they know he's somewhere around this area. But this should be the message for Lucky Kuraky. This should mean, all right, they're lacking 1 tier 8 tank. We can just outnumber them 5 versus 4.
Yeah.
What should I do? But at the moment, it looks like they can't find the right angle where to come from. Tolek has taken a bit of damage himself as well. He's down to 900. But on the other side, Ice, I think it was a tank that took some damage as well.
Yeah, 5 minutes and 25 seconds remaining of Ensk once more. And again, new multi-show picking up Object, who's coming down now. They've got a 3-tank push all the way down on that 6 line. A new multi-show is going to have to get himself out of there very quickly indeed as the Allied capture does begin. And new multi-show heading back towards the cap circle on, well, he doesn't really know which way round his turret should be just now. As CNNK does pick up the kill onto Sony. That was a T1 versus a T1. New multi-show will dispose of the first one inside the cap circle, and CNNK will run for his life. So the capping has been stopped. But here comes Kedevan round the corner, and Ponomako now picks up the first big kill of the game onto Tolek here. So EPS under pressure.
But Tolek didn't go down without taking Ice, and his Ice free either. So it was 1 for 1 tier 8 here. But the difference is Lucky Kuraky's got the cap circle going on. The T69 can't decap because he's going to face an IS3.
Yep.
What will kill him with no any problem at all.
Oh, here comes Kedavan round the corner, actually, onto New Moldy Show. Did peek first, then went back. He's got a health advantage here, Kedavan, as well. But if New Moldy Show gets the first one off, which he does not get off first, he's going to be in trouble here. And Kedavan can win this battle. New Moldy Show gets another one off. His turret's slightly pointed the wrong way, so he gets rid of the T1 instead. Brilliant work from New Moldy Show. And Kedavan now still inside the cap circle and should be able to get the kill onto New Moldy Show. But he's on a reload right now, so he has to get out of there very quickly and play a bit of chicken. Ring of roses round this little house to try and stay alive.
This is going to win them the game because that IS3, he can't kill a T69, he's too fast. He's going to keep on circling. And the other side,
oh dear.
Kuraky's outnumbered.
Oh, New Moldy Show, what are you doing? He's trying to go for the kill, gets the first shot to Kedavan. If he can get the second one, he can, but it hasn't downed him. He's on 68 points of health. And New Moldy Show's got to be very careful here because one shot from Kedavan will get rid of him and it'll make it a draw again. And here comes Kedavan round the corner. Is he going to land the shell or is New Moldy Show? No! New Moldy Show picks up the brilliant kill to land the final blow. And that should be Evil Panda Squad able to win this game.
Yeah, that's right. It's looking really good here. I don't know what Kedavan was trying there. He should have known that T69 is reloaded. I think he was hoping he's just confusing him to get a reload.
I personally don't think he had any other choice. I think he just realised he had to go for it there.
And Matt PO was doing the same.
Yeah, we've got 2 minutes 50 seconds remaining, so there's still hope here for Lucky Kuraky, but I think they're going to go down here. Zinef doesn't go down just yet, lands 2 big shells. There's Matt PL blown to smithereens with the final shell from Tomash, and Polymako picks up the kill, and EPS have a 2-0 lead after some excellent team play and some brilliant work from New Moldy Show.
That's right. New Moldy Show, even though 1 versus 1 at T69 against IS3, the IS3 wins. But the way New Moldy Show played it, really nice. And even in the engagement, we had this small fight, and instead of wasting a shell or wasting all shells on IS3 and try to kill him,
got rid of the T1.
He turned around, killed the T1 really fast,
really
and then just carried
clever.
on.
Yeah,
and
really smart.
From that moment on, he thought, right, I might not be able to kill this IS3, but I can keep on turning around in circles. He will never catch me, and he might do a mistake, and I'll kill him. And that's what happened at the end.
Yeah, it did.
So a really good play from New Moldy Show there.
Well, we knew this final night was going to be exciting. We didn't think it would be quite that exciting on Ensk. That probably rates us the best Ensk we've seen all season.
Yeah, I would say that's it.
Yeah,
I would agree on that.
Definitely up there in the top 5 plays, that's for sure. So, 2-0 to Evil Panda Squad. They are just 1 map away from going in to the round of teams that might make it in through the playoffs. That's as close as we're going to get to saying they've qualified for DreamHack. Because if you weren't with us earlier on, there is a whole raft of ways that Evil Panda Squad can get into the playoffs. But the first point is they must beat Lucky Kuraky. If they do that, they will confirm Lucky Kuraky as being relegated. So that's one thing that will happen. The second thing that will happen is that Evil Panda Squad will feature in a round robin of other teams who all finish on 33 points, but who qualifies is down to a mini-league system, not on the amount of rounds won or lost. It only comes down to rounds won or lost between those 3 teams. We won't know who those 3 teams are until we've also had Dragonborns versus MYM and Spale versus Kaznakru, which is our last game this evening. So stay tuned this evening, because it's going to be... The mathematics are going to be a bit mind-blowing, but the action might be spectacular.
That's right.
Okay, time for map number 3, I think, and hopefully we are ready for tank picks. In fact, we are ready for tank picks. So let's drop you in.
7 on 7.
Yeah, it's Himmelsdorf, map number 3.
Have you ever seen it? No, I'm not going to carry on this sentence. I don't want to jinx it.
What? Have we ever seen a draw on Himmelsdorf? Yeah, we have had a draw on Himmelsdorf this season. Yes, we have. Very early on. It's rare. It is rare, but yeah, very early on. I think it was probably week 3 or 4. There was a draw. It was a bit of a stalemate early on. I believe that was with Synergy. But it's one of the rarer maps for a draw. It needs a number of things to happen to get a draw that don't usually align. We're going to kick things off with T1 5100 from EPS. And wouldn't surprise me if that one was mirrored by Lucky Kuraky. Indeed it is. So T1 5100 from both teams in round 1. And we might even see the same in round 2. Oh, look. EPS have gone for a T1 5100 in round 2 as well.
Yeah, we might even see the same lineups that we just saw in Ensk.
They are, they're pretty decent lineups with the 69s mixed in with the IS3 and the 5100s. A couple of T1s for spotting. It's It's a city-based map with a little bit more open space on the left-hand side, which isn't usually utilised. And then the Citadel on the hill, which is utilised, and we've seen it a number of different ways this season. We've seen single T1s up there. We've seen T1 with an IS-3 up there. We've seen T1 with 3 Tier 8 tanks going up there. We've seen all sorts of strategies on Himmelsdorf, and I think that's probably why I enjoy it the most.
Yeah. And, yeah, most of the time you can always be sure that action's going to happen. It might not happen in the first 5 minutes. Well, yeah, the map starts off pretty slow. We can be sure at the end of the game, end of the map, there's going to be a lot of action, there's going to be a lot of excitement, and we're most likely going to see a winner.
T1 and 5100 in the second round for both teams, so it's still a mirror match so far. And then round 3 from EPS is an IS-3 and a 5100, so they've gone 3 5100s in their lineup. 1390s might feature here. I haven't seen them for a little while. We've got IS-3 and T69 though for Lucky Kuraky, so a slight change. We'd probably have expected that. They do seem to prefer the 69. And EPS have gone for double IS-3 alongside triple 5100. So no 1390s will appear. And instead, actually, EPS have gone double IS-3 as well, alongside the 69 and 2 5100s. So what do you make of those?
The only difference is a T59 and a T6.
So a little bit more mobility, perhaps, for Kuraky.
Yeah, I think the T69 is good for the hill.
Yeah.
So if they want to do any kind of push over the hill, that's where the T69 might come in handy. Also, the reload time is better. So it can be good for chasing down AMX 5100s.
Yeah.
It's just all about how you actually use this tank.
Yes, indeed. The teams are ready as well. Himmelsdorf, EPS will spawn south. And so they have a slightly longer way to get up onto the hill. On the north facing, you can use what we call the synergy tactic now, which is to send up a T1, 3 other Tier 8 tanks, and smuggle 2 of them before anyone can spot them. What?
Wasn't that Virtus Pro?
It was a mixture, because I saw Synergy do it first, but then I saw Virtus Pro actually execute it properly. Synergy, I'm not sure who invented the tactic between the 2 of them, but
it's a Russian tactic.
It's definitely a Russian tactic, that's all we can say.
Well, did we even see like the Russian tactic version 2, where there was actually even more tanks up the hill?
Yes, they 5-manned, but that was from the south spot. That's the point. As you can see, Himmelsdorf is map number 3. The open train yard there, the Citadel up on the hill. And we will be underway in around about 10 seconds for this 3rd map. Will it be the deciding map? Only if Evil Panda Squad win in this final game of the season of the World of Tanks Pro League Season 1. We are underway in map number 3. And EPS need just this one. And they'll confirm at least finishing 7th, but they won't want to finish 7th. They'll want to finish in the top 6. They will then require some results to go their way. And they've started things off very interestingly right now, because they've literally sent a T1 to the hill and nothing else. They've gone 6 tanks to the left-hand side, and already revealing Tomasz and Ice, who've gone onto the G line right now, with New Multi-Show, Potomako, Zinef and Sony all coming to the left-hand side train yard. And I wonder whether they're going to push on towards the old station at the end here. Sony would be probably the prime candidate to do so, but it's more likely he'll end up having to take some cover alongside one of the derelict factories that he's just heading to now. You can see him just about to take some cover. Yeah, so that's the point at which he would usually take some cover and then use that as a spotting point.
On the other side, Lucky Kuraky actually realised what was going on here. They spotted 2 IS-3s early enough in the game. Also spotted the AMX 5100, Prokhorovka charging forward. So they know what's coming towards them, and they are ready for it. 2 tanks, 2 AMX 5100s are ready for this one on his own. Yeah,
Potomako here has made his way very far down on this 3 line. And you can see him there. There is a T1 tank inside the old station, which is Quicksville. He's been spotted as well. Sony's going to move in on him, and they should have a little T1 battle here. That's what would usually happen. But if he shows himself, Quicksville, he also knows that Potomako is in a very advanced position. in that 5100, and that would be a worry for him. They don't want to lose that T1 too early, and we do have a little bit of damage done early on. Look at this. Here we go then. Double stack from Lucky Kuraky. It's not working out right now, although Potomako is going to have to back himself away from here. He's got some backup, though. Here come Tomasz and New Multi-Show to try and fly down into this B road towards the cap circle. They've already flushed them away, though, and I don't think that's going to make any difference.
Now, that was really nice positioning there from Lucky Kuraky. Having these two tanks there, doing a lot of damage, taking down 200 under 1,000 damage, 1,000 HP, and then getting away without taking much damage themselves. Nipiosoni is down to 1,100, but that's no problem because it's only one shot, and they've done enough of themselves. So things could be good now.
Hold on, they've got two in the cap circle right now. And they've played that lovely little cover. The reason for this, we've seen this before, and they're going to do double cover on this T1. And literally, look at Tomasz's position right now. He's there as the buffer to try and fire off, and with the T1 smuggled in behind him, still inside the cap circle, 3 of them sitting in there. They will decap once, but there are 3 tanks in here, and they've only got 18 seconds to cap it, and only 1 in the opposite end. They're going to go for the cap circle here. Again, just decapping with those shots come back in, but all the time they're doing that, they're not actually landing any damage on that T1. He's still there and still staying alive. They've got 9 seconds here. Is this going to be a cap? They've got to get a couple of shots off. They do get a couple of shots off, and the decap has begun once more. So down to a few bits of health now for Tomasz. I think he's going to go down with his final shot. Matt PL blows him to smithereens. He's only got 8 points of health himself, but that was a very interesting tactic from EPS, but ultimately, I don't think it's worked out there.
That's right, it didn't work out at all.
Understatement of the year.
The T1 was still safe, though. Even though these 2 tanks were dead, he was still carrying on capping. If that would have been...
cap circle right now. 5 seconds remaining. 2 in the cap circle. And there we are. Look, there they are in the cap circle. All captured. Although New Multi-Show comes around the corner, does pick up 1 with a ram on Quicksville, but it's not going to make any difference. So, Lucky Kuraky. Wouldn't you know it?
That was actually a really good tactic from Evil Panda squad, I have to say. Because looking at that T1, after 2 T-Rates were dead, they still couldn't decap. It still took another 10 seconds to actually kill him.
Yeah, it did.
So if there would have been enough time, they could have even cost the game. And on the other side, nice positioning from CNF. He was covering the one side. Potomako sacrificed himself, but he was trying to buy enough time to the cap circle to run long enough. But I think Lucky Kuraky just managed to connect the right shells and not overcommit to one side, like not overcommit on trying to stop the tanks flanking them and not overcommit in trying to decap. So just one shell decapping, kill the other tank, then another decap, then kill the other tank. And I think this combination of shots...
See, I like that. I like that tactic from EPS, but ultimately it failed. And the problem with that failing is if had that won, we would have started seeing some very positive attacking Himmelsdorf matches.
Yeah.
Okay? Not that we don't get them, we do, but we would have started seeing more of that kind of thing. The fact that it's failed, everyone in the league will look at that and go, yeah, we ought to sit back again.
Or they might see this and think,
we can do it slightly better.
This is a good tactic. They're the mistakes. If we adjust and make even the tactic, unstoppable tactic.
Maybe.
Because there used to be one on Himmelsdorf.
Yes.
I have to say this. There's, where we just seen this cap circle, there was a small hole in the building, so they put the T1 in there and blocked it with 2 tanks. And you won. Yeah. Even if you lost all your tanks, you won.
Yeah. Which they can't do now, by the way. That's been fixed.
The next map.
So, 2-1. EPS living dangerously. Nearly capped it out. They were literally 6 seconds away from claiming a 3-0 lead. As it is, the Poles have stayed in the hunt. Lucky Kuraky pull one back. It's now 2-1. Let's get underway in map number 4 with tank picks incoming from both of these 2 teams.
That's right. Should be incoming. Next map will be Mines. Lucky Kuraky will be starting south, and Evil Panda squad will be up on the north position. I feel like the north position is better for artillery. I think it just can get the better relocations and get better angles onto the tanks there.
I like north on 7v7 in this particular map. I think you have the advantage of being able to get over to the lighthouse quicker, which gives you a little bit more of a spotting ability across the map. You can also push a tank further forward onto the second island, which usually stops any push from there as well. and then control the high ground through the high mound as well. And if you have a little bit of artillery, maybe even double artillery, then it can work really well for you.
That's right.
So we kick off with Lucky Kuraky this time round, and they take double 1390s.
So, yeah, double 1390s, I'm not that sure. Usually double T69, yeah, that's normal. But 1390s, it can be normal, but calling them first surprised me a bit.
I wonder if that will make a difference to EPS and whether they'll change things up. They have asked for a moment. They only get 1 minute. Thought we'd just remind them of that as well.
Yeah.
There is a lone T1 sitting in the Kuraky lineup right now, as you can probably see on your screen. That's probably what they're going to go for next. And Sony has gone for 1390 T69. So they've split it up as Stephen explained earlier on. That 69 just giving them a little bit more mobility. And not going for the two 1390s. We're also going to see Kedavan drop down, and Kunzios is going to come into the lineup for this game.
I just have to wait for that new player to join so we can continue with the tank picking.
Yeah. That's weird. We've not had that issue before, have we?
And usually
That I
plays really in
remember.
there pretty fast. So I don't know why he's taking his time. Invite should have been sent, so I should actually be accepting the invite. But tank pickings carry on. T69 and a T2 light from Lucky Kuraky.
Yeah, 69 in from Kuraky after those two 1390s at the start. They've also gone for a T2 light, which would suggest a tier 7 artillery will come in for Kuraky. EPS, on the other hand, have gone for a T2 and a GW Panther. So
it could also be
what do you know? So it probably will be a Panther on the other side as well. And yes, it will be. So yeah, two T2 lights and a GW Panther. Whenever they pick the T2, there's two options. They either go for the Lorraine tier 7 or they go for the 6 GW Panther. If you see two T2 lights early on, you know it's the Panther.
Yeah.
If you only see one, it's still kind of, which way around are they going to go? If you see two T1s, then you're sort of going, oh, hello, this is going to be a bit weird. Don't look like we're going to have any artillery. And then suddenly they pull out two.
That's the way you can do it.
Yeah. It's what we've seen a number of times on mines. There's an interesting fact about this map, actually. If you haven't tuned in before, you won't know this fact. But if you have tuned in every week for the last 22 match days, you'll know that this is actually Stephen's favourite map.
It's not going to be next season. It's definitely not going to be.
See,
my favourite
I had to get it in once tonight.
no,
otherwise, we would
agreed.
have broken the combo and we would have had combo breaker. And then it wouldn't have worked because we've had it on the show every single night for the last 22 nights of the league.
We agreed that it's going to be for
It's a
the
thing.
end of the season. It is.
It's a thing.
It's part of the Pro League.
It is part of the Pro. It's
It-
almost
it's
as
like
part
a
of the
team.
Pro League as the Cookie Monster map now.
Yeah. There's some things they're just as important as teams. If they fall out, there's no point to have a Pro League
But
anymore.
we're relegating mines next season, is that right?
What?
Relegating it.
Yeah.
Not from the map pool necessarily, but
No.
certainly from your favourite map. It's
Yeah,
going to get
yeah.
relegated from your favourite map list.
There's some in the relegation playoffs that could make it up there. We have to
The
see.
maps
how
have to
things
play off against each other.
Yeah.
We're going to finish things off with a double artillery. Bison is going to come in for EPS. So they will go with the Panther and the Bison. So 8 tier points used for those. And that does make it 42 because they've only gone for one T2 light.
Yeah.
So I should have spotted that, actually. And then they'll both finish off with T69s, which means that EPS line up with two 69s, two 1390s, a Bison, a Panther, and a T2 light. And Lucky Kuraky will have a GW Panther as their lone piece of artillery. They'll have two 1390s, two T69s, and two T2 lights.
And I think that Bison's a better choice there because you only need one T2 light to cover the left-hand side because the right-hand side can be covered by your tanks up the hill or down the hill. So there's no need for a spotting tank there. So why not take a tank that can actually do damage?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the difference, isn't it? Look, north and south may dictate whether you take one or two pieces of artillery. I would love to see some stats, actually, which we don't unfortunately have. I'd have to look through every single match of the season, which have been an awful lot of them, to figure out whether more teams take 2 pieces of artillery if they spawn north.
But I think on both sides.
But I think they will. What I'm saying is I think that the balance will be that teams that spawn north generally take 2 pieces of artillery. Yeah. But on average.
But in my opinion, the bottom side is just as good with double artillery, just because the second T2 light, it makes no difference.
You're right.
There's not enough space for him to spot anyway, so why not just take that small artillery on top?
So this is mines, splattered with a number of Spanish outhouses here and there. As you can see, the small village of Spanish houses to the northeast.
I've definitely spotted the Italian flag there, I'm pretty sure.
Another theme that's run through our season.
And that one's going to run for every season.
The arguments between me and Stephen over European geography. Here we go then in map number 4. Lucky Kuraky saving themselves on Himmelsdorf. Can they do it again on mines?
I just found evidence why it's an Italian map. Because inside the base, it's got German writings, German bunkers, and German setups. And Germans were in Italy, but not that much in Spain. Ah, got you there.
Now we're getting some wartime history from Stephen Smigel-Neal. It's all about their precious. So we're underway, and geography lessons aside, there's a big push here from Quicksville, who's made his way all the way up onto the lighthouse, and then gets blown to smithereens by Zinef. Thanks for the free kill there. That was a little bit risky, wasn't it?
It was maybe a bit too risky there, but on the other side, Zinef was spotted quite early. If the artillery would have been looking in that direction, he might have been able to do some damage. Niepa only tried to, didn't manage to connect the shell, so Zinef should be fine for now, and will be able to back out there without taking any damage, and yeah, that looks like it's going to happen. Meantime, nothing else special happening around Lucky Kuraky. Got the T69 and the AMX 3090 around the middle. The T2 light at the top is actually getting in a bit of trouble here. Putamaka should spot him at any moment.
Yes, he is spotted right now. And CNNK is going to take a little bit of damage. 12, to be precise.
Yeah, he bumped over a little hill.
So that wasn't successful, was it, from Putamaka?
He should be fine for now. CNNK got out there. Only got a bit of damage because he bumped over, well, he drove a little bump there. But now it's getting out. So maybe it is good that they have 2 T2 lights because they have half a scout still alive now. Yeah, well, some proxy going on here from Pointer in that T2 light, who's managed to pick up Matt PL. You can see them over the top. He's not going to risk going over there, though. That Tier 8 tank will blow him to smithereens with 1 shot if he bothers to show himself. But they have seen each other, so that's sort of like a head-to-head, if you like, that can't actually be a head-to-head. So instead, they're going to send Tolek round the other side, and Pointer's going to have to run away, but he's not going to get out of there. He's a little bit too slow to react to that, and Tolek gets himself a free kill, and they've each had a birthday present, haven't they? Yeah, that was actually really lucky there that they managed to kill that T2 light without taking much damage themselves. Tolek got away. I don't know how he actually done that, getting away without taking any artillery shots. Matt PL was hit by the artillery, but again, only the tracks were hit, so no damage. Tracks were taken down, but already repaired. And they are fine for now, and quite impressive. I still don't understand why Evil Panda's not punish him for this kind of risky move. CNNK going back to his old position. I think's right. Situation calmed down. I can settle again. And besides that, one AMX 3090 is all over on the left. All on his own, but also the same from Evil Panda squad, so it's not like any outnumbering situation will happen here where 4 versus 3. Oh,
hello. Potamako, though, and Ice, the map lights up for them as well as they manage to spot both of the 69s and the 1390 down there. After Potamako just made a bit of a drive-by, frankly. He's going to do it again, you know. He's literally just going to drive round. It's like some sort of tank Grand Prix circuit going on the top of that hill. He's literally driving round and round. He's stopped now, but he was just driving around and just picking up proxy spots from the top of the hill. So they'll know roughly where they are. They can't do an awful lot about them, though.
The reason why he's doing is because it looked like the Bison was able to get a shell onto Matt PL here. Didn't actually hit quite straight away, but he was getting closer. But on the other side, Sony did manage to counter Kuncios in his GW Panther. That means 1 artillery down for Evil Pandas for Lucky Kuraky and a T2 Light. So there's 8 tier points, but thank God for them, they managed to take down Pointer on the top of the Italian village and make sure they don't lose the game this time.
We've also had a little bit of a battle brewing here with Zinef and Neopazorni, who's doing a bit of tree culling, and has also taken some shells now from that artillery down to 788. The shell being called in. Zinef going to creep round the corner. He has actually got less health now. He's got more, though, because more damage was done. He's down to 95 here near Pazzoni, desperately struggling to get away, and he's not going to get away with it. The 69 from New Multi-Show shuts him down. And now it's game on for EPS because they've gotten rid of the artillery and a tier 8 tank.
On the other side, that is CNNK in his T2 Light. He's going for the artillery now. He realized, okay, we are falling back, they're pushing us. The artillery should be fine. One artillery is running away, though. Yeah. He should get out there, but the second artillery, the GW Panther, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. And there we go. The spots come up. CNNK know where he is. Will Sony manage to connect the shell?
Oh, yeah. Yes. CNNK. Look at the speed of that coming in. Oh my goodness! A one shot from heaven from Sony 43. That one goes down in the brilliant book because that was astounding. He shouldn't have won that, but somehow with a single shot, with that T2 Light just swerving all over the place with the speed it had, he was able to shut him down anyway, and they've got to have won this game now, Stephen.
Yeah, things aren't looking good at all. They didn't manage to take down artillery. They're down in tier 8 tanks. What else should they do? They're kind of pinned down in the base, and it's just going to take a while until Evil Panda Squad realizes it, and they're just going to try to take it down one by one, come closer, shut down the next one with the artillery, or they're just going to sit back. Points are in their favor, so there's not much Lucky Kuraky can do, and it looks like they're going to be out of the league, sadly.
Yeah, well, they can even lose... Oh, hold on a minute, though. If they lose one of their tier 8 tanks here, it would actually be a draw.
Nope. The artillery's 8 tier points in total as well.
Oh, it is, of course,
so,
you're right.
Yeah,
no,
so
you're right. Yeah,
2 tier 8 points up. That's why they needed the artillery, and then kill 1 tier 8, and then things would have been fine. But not killing that artillery, that's a big blow here.
Yeah, it is, you're right.
The only way I can see them winning is actually killing that MX-39 on the left-hand side of the zone, but he's actually retreated to artillery, so they won't be just facing him.
Yeah,
they're going to be facing...
And look what EPS have done right now. Look, there are 3. Wakey, director. And wakey. There we go. Finally, thank you very much, Tim. Those 3 are sitting up on the hill right now, and they're going to pick up another kill here onto Matt PL. They might just pick off Tolek as well, and the last stand is about to fall. The GG is exchanged with EPS, and the final man is now Obiect. He's going to go down fairly shortly as well, just 322 health. What a sad end to the season for Lucky Kuraky. They've put up a really plucky fight to try and get out of that relegation, but they just weren't able to bring it up at the end. And there it is, the final kill of the season on Lucky Kuraky, and Evil Panda Squad have won by 3 games to 1.
That's right, your prediction was right.
It was spot on this evening. What do you know? It
was indeed.
3 from Sony in that game, 1 of utter brilliance with that GW Panther. That one definitely has to go down to one of the shots of the week. Zinef with a single one, New Multi-Show with a single, and 2 from Podomako, just a single kill from Tolek in that game. And Lucky Kuraky are unfortunately relegated from the World of Tanks League. So 1 SBB Zavisha and Lucky Kuraky will not be back in Season 2. Our commiserations to those 2 teams. Now, congratulations, though, to Evil Panda Squad, who do have a chance, and it is just a chance, to make the playoffs. Will they finish 6th? Or will they finish 7th? I'm going to check in with our little matrix that we made just to find out what they need to happen. So, now we know that Evil Panda Squad have won. We now have only 4 scenarios left, okay? We wouldn't have had any of these scenarios left had EPS lost. It would have been much more straightforward. So thanks, Evil Panda Squad. You made our jobs a lot harder, but we forgive you. Here's the thing, okay? So what EPS now need to happen is this. If MYM win, then EPS will not make the playoffs regardless of the result. That's the first thing that needs to happen. So they need Dragonborns to win because they match up better, amazingly, against MYM. So if Imagine Dragonborns win their game this evening, we're down to 2 scenarios, and those scenarios are like this. EPS, MYM, and Spale. And EPS would top that league only by virtue of the fact that they all have 2 wins, but EPS have a better map record. That's how slim they would get into the playoffs by. MYM would also go through, but Spale, if they lose to Krasnokru, would not make it through. In the other game that they make up, EPS would also go through if Krasnokru beats Spale or MYM beats Dragonborns. But they cannot go through if Spale wins against Krasnokru. So for EPS now, they've got to be cheering on Krasnokru like crazy in our second game of the evening.
Yeah.
Otherwise, EPS cannot make it into the playoffs. Still with us? Clear as mud? Good.
Got some more results as well.
Yes, all right, let's hear the other results.
Really sad thing is for Lucky Kuraky is that actually Isuba won their game.
So Alpha finished on the same amount of points, but because they beat Lucky Kuraky twice in the season, they win the head-to-head and stay for now in the Pro League, but are also in the relegation playoffs next week, as are Isuba as well.
And final result, what we have for the first round as well. This is a big surprise. Mouse Sports against 1SPP Savisha. Mouse Sports lost 3-1.
Wow.
Their last game. So maybe it was like kind of nothing can happen anymore. Mouse Sports can't go up, can't drop.
Yep.
Savisha can't go up anyway.
Maybe they fielded some of the players that haven't had a chance during the season or something. Or maybe 1SBP just said, you know what? We're going out on a high.
And then we'll just rip them apart.
And they did. So, second round of games. The last 3 matches of Season 1's regular season coming up very shortly. Before we take a break, though, we're going to check in with Melly and see whether you were right in the predictions as well as we were. Were you or not?
Yes.
Good news. Well done, community.
No, through the whole match, the vote was pretty clear for APS, and yeah, not even the percent number changed. It was constantly 22
What was
to
that
78.
then?
Huh?
What was that? It was like, you go, girlfriend.
No, I couldn't find the word I wanted to say.
Okay, fine. Sorry.
You have to do with the lips as well.
Help me finding it, so. Simple tricks. Questions, if you like.
Sure. Let's have a couple.
I'd like to know the special abilities from the crew which they pick for the IS-3, or let's say for the heavy tanks.
Well, yeah, the tournament accounts have every perk, so they basically don't have to pick. But if you would have to pick, the most important thing is 6th Sense. You want to know when you're spotted. Repair.
Yeah, I was going to say repair for me.
Yeah, repair. You always want your
How
repair
many
kit.
times do pro players not get a repair kit? What is that all about?
Yeah, repair kit is one thing, but then if you run out your repair kit, you need your
the
crew.
abilities, exactly.
Yeah, so that's why always focus on your crew, on your repair kit, because if you do get tracked on the open field, you easy kill for the artillery.
Yeah, easy meat.
And you don't want that to happen. So yeah, repair definitely important. Where did that come from?
Wasn't me.
Everybody breaks something. What else? What other perks could be important? It always depends on your game style. Again, like you can drive faster. You can like ammo rack, get things for your ammo that you swap faster. To be honest, I always say the most important things. Well, Brothers in Arms also good because that's 5% crew skill. So Brothers in Arms, repair kit, and 6th Sense.
I don't know if you saw what I was just about to do, but
You was about to turn the music on.
no, I was just about to do this. Oh, hold on. That's not going to work. Wait. That was... Oh. That's such a fail, and I nearly did it then as well. Right, you ready? Hang on. So talk about that last perk.
Yeah, so you got 6th Sense,
Yeah.
repair kit, and crew skill.
And what else?
I don't know what you're going to.
Brothers in Arms.
Brothers in Arms. Oh. Yeah, crew skill is Brothers in Arms. Damn it, I said the wrong word.
Okay, that didn't work, so we'll fail on that one.
Sorry.
Never mind.
Sorry, but a nice try. Well, yeah, these 3 crew skills are the most important. Besides that, just look for yourself.
One more question.
Sorry.
Such a loser when we try and do a joke on this show. Never goes right.
I'm too slow in these thinking things, you know.
Unbelievable.
My brain doesn't work that fast.
Fired. Melly,
Yes.
one final question.
Is there any limit of amount of SPGs on city maps like Himmelsdorf? It is pretty meaningless to put 3 SPGs there. In most cases, they're just free frags.
It's talking about random games.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not 7v7.
No, in random games, there's no limits on artillery on any map, but more overall limits. So there aren't any. And I don't think they're planning on putting any artillery in there, because some might even like playing artillery on Himmelsdorf if you manage to get the right angle as well. And it's 15 versus 15. You can do something. You just have to play it in a different way. Right. So, yeah.
Good answer. Strong there, Mr. Nuno.
I'm not feeling that comfortable anymore with these questions, because like 2 weeks ago...
Put you on the spot.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, there's so many questions coming where I was like, damn it. What is he asking?
The point is, you're the expert, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you know everything.
That's right. And it's really hard to know everything in this game.
Absolutely. It's got a lot of depth to it. So, yeah, I'm deeply impressed, by the way, for the season. This is just my personal thank you to you for teaching me the game, because without you, I'd have been lost this season. I'd have been sitting here going, there's this green thing with a couple of tracks. It's rolling, and it's got a spinny thing on top that fires some... I don't know what it is, but it's green. Looks like a frog. It's the AMX Frog 90. I don't know what it is. That's what it would have been like. Seriously, this year it would have been like that if he hadn't helped me learn the game. And also, I'm a big thanks to Magus as well, from Dragonborns, who has also helped me learn the game in a very short period of time. I'm by no means an expert, but hopefully I know enough about it now to know when there's a really good kill and bring you some of the action. So I hope you've enjoyed the coverage this year. We've got one more game to go tonight. Thank you very much, Manny. We will come back to you a little bit later on for some more news from social media. Don't forget, you can get involved at WoT Pro League on Twitter, or just join us in the Twitch chat, and it's all down there as well, all for you. Facebook.com/WoT Pro League as well. For now, we're going to take a very quick break. When we come back, it's the deciding game of the season. Who goes through to the playoffs at DreamHack? Who goes to the relegation league for the playoffs? We'll find out.